Hey, what's up, everybody? So I'm going to be doing something today. I'm going to be using spot render in Daz Studio to try to add some images to my visual novel, give a little bit more variety. I've got a scene right now that where the main villain, main antagonist, is berating the main character. And then she's got like 4 or 5 lines, but she's got the same face for each of them, and that's kind of boring. So I'm going to use the spot render to be able to very quickly add some emotion to her, make her, change up just a little bit, give a little bit of a variety to the scene. So what I'm going to be using is I'm going to be using Gimp. I've got the scene right here already pulled up, so once I get the spot renders, I'll be able to put them right over the top of there and make a new image. I'm going to be using Unity to kind of look at it once it's done, see how it kind of looks, and of course Daz Studio to make the scene, make the image. Now this is where my problem is. My GPU is only a 6 GB NVIDIA GPU, which means that I've got some pretty big limitability. I can't even use words right now. Sorry about that. I'm limited. There we go. Let's take a sip of coffee, see if that helps out at all. So, one of the main things I want to do, I would say the first thing I'm going to do is, I don't need a lot of the stuff in this scene. So, if we go to the NVIDIA Ira Preview, and we're going to see where we're at for GPU being used on this here in just a second. Let's see here. It's coming in. Let's see what it's creeping up to already. On the 3.4, 5.2. It's going to probably max out about 5.7. Wow. I'll be honest with you. I'm impressed. I thought that scene was going to max it out. Now, to be fair here, if I were to add the grass, this is just an HDRI. That's not the actual. If we look at the image, there's some different kind of grass right here. So if we were to try to, do this as the full image here with the HDR showing, it would mess it up because this isn't the same grass that's there. But let's see what happens when we add that grass. Oops. I'm going to use Control and hit that to bring it all in. And I guarantee that's going to bring us up to basically our max here. We're not going to be able to 5.7. It's going to get up to maybe 5.8, and then it's going to start kicking into the CPU. And once it starts using the CPU for rendering, it slows everything really down by a lot in Daz Studio. So you really don't want to do that. I'm guessing right now that it's probably into the CPU because that CPU number is going up a little bit. So let's rehide that. We're going to hide a bunch of things. Oops. In Daz Studio, if you have things grouped up like this, if you want to hide everything under it, you need to Control and then hit the little thing here. We can also, because in the spot render, it's just going to be right here in our face, we can get rid of the orcish tent. Oops. We don't need that in there. And we don't need, oops, we need her. So we're adding facial expressions for. And we're gonna get rid of Laria. Shael is gonna be the only one in the scene. We also have, that's still the grass, isn't it? What is going on here? I'm gonna get rid of it either way. I swear, is that the space, orcish tent? The only thing that should be showing right now, and we could get rid of the spotlight. We don't need the spotlight in the scene. That's going to take up some VRam. You know what, though? I'm wrong on that. And the reason why I'm wrong is because the image that I have in Gimp right here, I'm pretty sure that it's with that spotlight. That's the scene as I did it. So if I were to take that, it's going to be really hard for me to match up with this. So I need to make sure that the lighting's the same in that scene. Let's see what else we could do here. Well, first of all, let's see. Now that we've gotten rid of a couple things, we're down to 4.7. CPU is still up there though. And you know what? Maybe it's not pulling off the CPU. Either way, if that dedicated GPU memory is going down, we're in good shape. The render's going to be a lot better and a lot quicker. Let's go back to texture shaded. Yeah, that's what I thought. That grass for some reason was still showing in the NVIDIA preview, even though it's not there. So, oh no, let's do this. Let's go back to. It's not showing. Let's do this. Let's get rid of the HDRI. So we're going to go to render settings, environment, and ooh, I wonder why that's crazy. Why is we wanna up the environmental lighting resolution. I don't know why that was down there, but we want to have draw dome off. All right, so hopefully, and what we're going to do is we're going to do a quick spot render just of this, because what I want to do is I want to make sure that I have my lighting correct, and I'm going to be able to match up with that image there. So when you do spot renders, if you want to do it in a way where you can actually see what's going on and you want to be able to stop it, you need to right next to the spot render thing, hit the click here for tools, and you switch to new window. That way you can actually see what's going on. That, to me, that should be the default. So let's just do a quick spot render there. And we're not going to let render very long. We're going to actually just long enough for color and lighting so we can kind of see what's going on. Hey there, spammer. Yeah, we don't allow spam in their chat. I'm sorry about that, dude. Let's see here. Let's see how long it's gotten going so far. So we're just gonna stop it right now. Would you like to cancel? Yes. And then we're going to put this under test render Shael. I'm gonna save that. And then we're going to add a layer in Gimp. If you have Photoshop, God bless you. You got more disposable money than I do. Let's see. So we're going to go the forest, and that was test. Oh, how was this? Okay, test render. It's going by. What is that? Oh, what am I doing? I want to open his layer. What the hell was I doing right there? Don't even ask me. Okay, now this one's going to be under. Go to the forest. We're going to go test render. Open. Ooh, so we already have some issues here. I think part of it is this is at 1920. Oh, I need to figure out. Where my problem is here. Because we are not lined up like we should be right now. I believe the issue might be in the render size. Let's see here. That's why we're doing this right now. We want to make sure that we got everything here. So that's 1920 by 1080. That's right. Is she in it? If you look at it, she's where she is in the scene. That's right on there. No? Yeah? Boom, boom. We might have hit a little bit of a snag here. Is that exactly the same? I believe it is. I mean, you're looking at right there. I wonder, what if we take this test render thing, this image, let's scale image to what, 2560? Maybe it's on 2560 and I don't realize it. Oh, my bad. I wanted to do layer there. Let's undo. We want to scale layer to that. And this is where I did just realize I need to do some better documentation. That is not the answer either. So I'm going to have to figure that out real quick. I'm going to figure out why I'm off there. Because it appears that everything is lined up. I think we're just a little bit off. So I need to see if there is a different one. You know what I might have to do here is I might have to render her. I might have to get creative here. I'm gonna have to think on this for just a moment. Because I do believe that that is a slightly different frame. If you look up here above her head, there's not much room there. I'm not convinced of that. I'm really not convinced of that. I'm going to see. We're going to pull up. We are going to save this. And that's where I need to do a better job of making sure that I've got everything a little bit better labeled, I guess. So let's pull up A13. See if maybe that's it. And if it looks like it might be it, we're just going to do a spot render just over her face. Nope, that's not it either for sure. But here's the thing is, like, you know, if I'm going to be able to come back and do this, I have to make sure that I have, you know, A12, the image lined up with the scene A12, and they need to both be the same. See, do we have any other candidates? Otherwise, I'm probably just going to have to render a whole new A12 and then just work off of that. Let's see, what's the 1-1? Maybe it's this. We'll see. That's one thing I'm really learning right now is organization and workflow, which is getting better for me, but obviously, as we see right now, it still isn't perfect. Yeah, so let's check, see if maybe there's a different camera. I do not believe this one's the answer too. However, we might have some different frames here we could kind of look on too. Either way, let's get off the NVIDIA Ira so we can do this quicker. We've got a mystery that we have to solve, ladies and gentlemen, and solve it we will. Let's see if we have a, so we've got, that's camera 2. I believe that's the only camera we have. But if you notice this, if you kind of look at what I got going right here, if you notice, she's missing some legs. That's something else I'll do in some of these images. Is I will get rid of body parts that aren't showing in the scene, and that will lower the VRAM usage on it. Even though you would think that the Ira renderer would not be taking information that's not in this screen, that is not the case. Okay, I'm going to think for just a moment to think if I have any other options here. Now, this is my last ditch effort. I'm going to go to the back A2. I'm going to see if maybe, just maybe, this has got the same lineup as that. Otherwise, we're just going to render a scene. And then we're going to use it to make some different boom, boom. I might say this is not it. We will, either way, we'll pull them in and see where they're at. That's not the same. That's definitely not the same. That's from a whole different angle. All right. We're going to pull up A1-2 again. Hit no on saving that. We will get this figured out. I promise you. All right, we're still sitting there without anything rendering. We're at 3 out of 6 of the GPU being used. So that's somewhat of an issue because we're not even rendering anything right now. So we got that right there. She's just down just a little bit. Where's that camera? I don't even see it on there. I wonder if somehow, some way that camera shifted. Which, to be honest with you, would be an issue. Why is that camera parented with the grass? That makes 0 sense on that. So what we're going to have to do, and I've already got a background, I believe, that I can use for that. I'm not going to worry too much for it. Let me think here for just a moment. Is there something? Can I take... Trying to think. Why didn't I save it right? Bum 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 ba bum bum. Bum 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 ba bum bum. Bum 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 ba bum bum. One thing I did have to do is I did have to do an arm fix, where I had to go through and so when you're taking and you're hiding like clothing, you have to, you know, control and hide it, because what I did is this thing was still on her even though she didn't have her clothes on, which looked kind of funny and I didn't catch it right away. Yeah, we're gonna do this. We're gonna take a scene and we're going to, just so that we could do this right, we're gonna bring her back in. We're gonna bring in the other girl back in. Oh, she's down here. Okay, so we got that right there. We're then going to take, so now, this is where we're gonna have some fun. We're gonna see how much VRAM we can save here. Because what's important to me is telling the story and getting visuals that are going to work to that. I'm less worried about making, you know, having cool shadows and stuff like that. I am much more interested in facial expressions that kind of tell the story. Once I get a better GPU, then I could worry about making it look better as far as shadows and stuff like that. So if this is the scene we're going to do, and we want to be able to maybe do a few different spot renders with their faces, and maybe we'll do that where we do spot renders for both of their faces and different things, and kind of make this really interesting. Maybe make her react as she's talking and saying things. Then we're going to need to make sure that everything, we're gonna have to do a render background at some point without them, and then we will. One thing I'm going to change on this, because I did kind of to show a little bit of depth of perception, if you notice in this, there's just this little bit right here of this tent that is in front of her. So that means that for any, if I'm going to render this scene right here without the other background, but with these two, if I'm going to have her standing there, right there, I'm going to have to either show this or I'm going to have to pull her a little bit farther away from that so that this could just be background and I don't have to worry about rendering that with the scene. So in our attempt to get our VRAM usage down as much as possible, we're going to see if we really need to do that. We're at 5.1 gigabytes right now being used on this NVIDIA Ira Preview. Let's see if we can keep this in here in this scene. This is the other thing to remember. Like, even if we're changing, so if we're going to be doing spot renders on their faces, when we do the spot renders on their faces to give them like different, like make them look a little bit different and kind of change the hold on a second. I got to think on something on this. No, I know what I'm going to do about that. But if we're going to do facial changes, I'll be able to hide this on the subsequent renders. So the only thing I'm really worried about as far as this little spot right here being in front of her is for one render, and that's going to be this one right here. So let's do this. We're going to do, we're at 5.1. Let's get rid of some body parts and things that they don't need. So let's go with Laria, and we're going to see, we can get rid of her pelvis down below. So we can go control. Basically, she doesn't have a bottom half of her body. Let's see if that made a difference. Dropped at 0.1. All right. We can get rid of, we can basically, there's some things we can hide in here all the time. Like if she's got clothes on, there's zero reason to have the genitalia being factored into this. Let's see, still at only at 5. Is there anything else we can get rid of with her? I don't believe so. This dress is one piece. Now, if this was an outfit where there was a top and a bottom, like there was a shirt and then there was pants, that we could get rid of the pants on there, but right now we can't do that. So let's go to the other girl and see if there's anything we can get rid of on her. We can once again do the same thing. We can go pelvis down below, get rid of that. We can get rid of her ankle wraps. I think we can get rid of her skirt. Yep, that's out of the scene. We're going to keep her wrist wraps. So let's see if we made any difference here. 4.9. I'm not going to lie to you. So far, as awesome as it is to save a little bit of VRAM, that didn't do much. And I would say, now, if you're pushing it right at the end and it's getting into where it's using the CPU to render, then going down by 0.1, 0.2 probably would make a huge difference. I don't know if hiding those things is going to make any difference at all, but we're going to do it anyways. So the last thing we're going to do is we're going to see the difference it's going to make to get rid of this orcish tent. So we're at what, 4.9. This goes down by quite a bit. Then we're going to move her away from that so we don't have to worry about the depth on that. Only went down to 4.8. Not worth it. I like the effect of having just a little bit right there. So what we're going to do is we're going to create the image that we're going to use to change things on. So we're going to do two things. We're going to do this with all of them, and then we're going to do another image that's just the background. So it's going to be the HDRI and the grass and stuff like that. So let's do this. Let's do a render. Let's make sure that we have our stuff the way we want it. We got 2 and 2. That's what we've been using. Tone mapping is at 12. This is what I've found. If you're not too worried about like dealing with shadows and stuff like that, a 12 on well, especially with this HDRI, and then a 2 and 2 on this adds a lot of light to it. But I can go into Gimp and I can tone that light down just a little bit, but it helps with render times very, very much. So we've got, let's see, one last thing. Progressive modes, we got a level 1. I think we could keep everything there. We're gonna let this render for just a few minutes and get a good solid scene. This is another thing too, is I just realized this. If you render from the Nvidia Ira Preview, it's gonna start rendering a lot faster because you've already got part of the work done with the preview. If you start it from the texture shaded, then it's gonna take a minute or so, or at least quite a few seconds to get started on this. So let's see what this image is looking like. We're gonna want to let it go for a little bit longer. So while we're doing that, let's maybe get into Unity and mess around with a couple things here. I'm gonna look at chat. All right, let's go into Unity. Yeah, we're gonna go into, we are in Prologue 1 is the one that we're in here. So what our game plan is, we have our A1 to A, which is going to be the close-up of her. We've got the A1 2, and I'll kind of show you. Actually, let's play this out real quick. We're going to continue. So basically, this is A12. This is the one we are replacing this right here to make sure that we have the right camera angle so that we can then change this. What we're going to do with the spot renders, we need to have the background in the spot renders because we want, so okay, like let's say we move her face a little bit in the next spot render. If we do just the PNG just of her, it's gonna look funny because you're still going to get like this part of her head from this picture will be showing even though her head's moving back, so it's not gonna work out right. So in the spot renders, we will still have the background that we need. We won't need this grass background. You know what, I just realized too, we need to redo this anyways because that's not the right grass, I don't think. I don't believe it is. And with this, so this is A1 to A. The only difference on this is that this is that same exact image, but in Gimp, I went in ahead and zoomed in and did a crop on it. And that's the only difference. So those are the two exact same scenes. And that's another reason why I'm doing this is, you know, she's got the same, oh, what did I do there? Oh, shit. I hit stop it. But I'll show you kind of why I'm doing this. It's the same exact, she's got the same exact expression for each one of these things. That's kind of boring. Same thing with her. So we're going to change that up and give her different views on these things. Let's see how this is looking. So I already noticed that we're going to have to do another spot render just on her. And the reason why is I think we're out of focus. If you look at Ilaria, she is pretty well focused. Looks like it's pretty high def, whereas Ilaria or Shael here is a little bit blurry. So I think I got my depth of field a little bit off here. I'm kind of wondering, you know what? You know what? I want to keep that depth of field because I want the little bit of blurriness on the orc tent over there. I was thinking about taking it off, but I don't think we really need to. So the first thing we're gonna do with the spot render is we're gonna fix this, and we're gonna change the camera, and we're just gonna spot render Chiel with it being more high def. So let's see what it's right now. It's saying we're at 58%. We're at 385 iterations. We're gonna go about 500 because I think that's what we did in the first wave through. Tell you what, these Daz models, especially at like 1920, you know, at high def, look pretty good. You don't, in my view, you don't necessarily need to do them at 100%. You don't. These things look pretty good no matter what. Dun, dun, dun. Let's see, are we at about 500? 423. So we're gonna give it like one more minute. I'm gonna grab some coffee while it's doing that. I'll be right back. You know, originally I was just planning on doing some facial changes with her, but I think we're gonna have her move her arm just a little bit. Maybe not full pose difference, but at least a little arm movement, and we'll be able to do it with spot render. You know, we'll probably do maybe some blinkage here, a little bit of change in her expression, not too much. So let's do this. So we're going to take this, we're going to take that, and we're going to cancel the render, and then we're going to, so let's do and we are going to still call this A1-2, but we're going to put it in a different folder, so it'll let us do that. Let's see here. Let's do a brand new folder here, and this is going to be A1-2 facial expressions. We're going to take that and select that folder, and we're going to save. So we got that. So now let's fix this. We're going to go into texture shaded, so it's a little easier to move around. I'm going to pull up our perspective view. If we go Control L, that will turn the lights on in the scene. The lights aren't technically in the scene, but they kind of look like it. Now we're going to go to our camera, our camera 2, and we're going to see just why she's out of focus. So this is the thing is, yeah, oh, weird. Why is that? Let's go above it. I might just in this, especially in this part, I might say screw it and take the depth of field off on this. I'm not entirely sure. They both look like they're in the good spots, even though she's towards the back. I could try to. Let's do this. Maybe. Back just a little bit. Yeah, but now Yeah. Let's go in this and we'll just do a quick spot render and we will just see. We're going to see how detailed her face is on this. Where is it? It's, oh, there we go. Let's see what we're running with right now. We got a 4.9 G on the GPU. That's nice. Yeah, I can already tell that it's already sharper. That compared to, let's pull up, or let's get rid of these. We're not going to need these anymore. Let's add Addis Layers. Open his layers, and we're going to go, what do we, oh yeah. Facial expressions, A12 there. Okay, so if we look at that and we look at our, yeah, you could tell that's already way sharper, like considerably sharper, and we're at, look at that, 794 iterations already, and that's why that's nice. That's why spot rendering is awesome. However, that's not what we wanted to, because I think we want to get all of her. Let's see. Yeah, we want her to be sharp, her whole body. So let's go back. Let's stop this render. We're not going to save that. But we're going to do a spot. Oh, we're going to do spot render. How do I? Wait, lock. You know what? I need to look up something here real quick. Daz Studio, how to lock camera position. Oh, let's see. And let's see. Dude, why'd you do that? Why does this log me out all the time? All right, so now I got to go back. Oh, this is stupid. Daz Studio, how to lock camera position. That shouldn't need to do that. It should take me about, but then another one, and I forget I have this view selected, move the camera by mistake. When you have the, go to the parameters tab and click on the padlock icon. Okay. Yep. I'm learning stuff. Okay, why is this? Okay, what do I got? I got my CPU is at 29%, memory's at 44. I'm rocking. I'm not, this is not going bad at all. So we want to go camera, we want to go here. And under all these things, we want to padlock, 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 padlock. I just don't want to take a chance on any of this stuff. All right, so we can't move that camera. I can always undo if I do that. So let's see. Let's see if it'll let me. Nope. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, I needed to learn that. All right, so what we're going to do is we're just going to take Shael, spot render her, and then we're going to take that more pristine, sharp image of Shael. And we're going to add her, add that onto that other GIMP image and make her look more sharp. And then from there, we're going to start playing around with some different facial expressions and stuff like that. I'm going to do a test too. I'm going to do a test. We're going to do a we're going to do a spot render. Then the first time we make a change, we're going to keep Ilaria still in the scene, but then off of the spot render. And we're going to do it, and then we're going to do it with her disappeared and see if it makes a difference on how quickly we get up to like 500 iterations. That is what we're trying to get to, is about 500. And once we get to 500, we're going to feel pretty good about where we're at on it. And you notice this is not taking any more or less GPU memory. It's actually taken a little bit more, but that's probably has nothing to do with this. It's probably has, I think that has something to do with me having another tab open on Chrome. In fact, let's see what that does. See if that makes a difference. Yeah, it went down just a little bit. Still not much. It's kind of bouncing back and forth. I don't know how much. Let's see. That's looking pretty freaking sharp. Took me a long time. I wanted her skin to be slightly different than human. Maybe a color that you wouldn't see with humans, but still be attractive looking. And I think I got that yellow just about right. When we do some more close-up images, one thing you'll definitely notice is that there is a difference in the skin-like definition between her and Ilaria. And I think some of that has to do with just the tone changes I made on her skin. I don't know if it's possible to really truly keep the definition of the skin and change the color like that much. So we're gonna stop that. Cancel this render. We're still under facial expressions. So we're gonna do A1 to A. And we're going to save. And then we're going to take, this. We did everything right. Open its layers, A1 to A. Boom. Look at that. We have that now. So now the next part to making this image complete, at least something we can work off, is that we need a image of the background. And the cool thing on this is I want it to be semi-blurry. In fact, I'm going to use a Gaussian blur in Gimp, so it doesn't need to be that sharp. So what we're going to do, let's take, what do we want? We need to open this back up. We need this grass. We need to turn on the render settings, environment. We need to turn dome on. Dome on. Let's see what this is doing to our memory. Oh yeah, we're not in NVIDIA Ira Preview. Let's do that so we can kind of see what's going on here. See how much this kicks up. Should start rising right now. I know I've watched a lot of tutorials on people on rendering in Daz Studio. And for some of them, the way I'm doing this would be absolute sacrilege. Oh, look at that. It's already up to 5.4. It gets much higher. It'll have to start going off a CPU, and that won't be a good thing. But the fact that I'm doing backgrounds and then the characters on different renders and not rendering the background in each scene or whatever would be sacrilege to some. But once again, I'm dealing with 6 GB VRam. And that just limits me. I have to make do with what I have, which is something that I've learned to do. I've in the restaurant industry. A lot of the best recipes I ever created were just because these are the ingredients I have laying around. Let's create something awesome. So I actually don't mind the scarcity of resources and having to try to be creative. So we're going to take and we'll get rid of the 2 characters. So we'll get rid of boom. And once again, see, this is the thing is, if we were to go just with her, it still leaves her hair and her clothes, despite the fact that they're parented. So control, and that gets rid of her completely. Let's see this. Yeah, we're down to 3.9 because there's no people. Like the people in the scenes really adds a lot to it. So I'm trying to think if there's any reason whatsoever why we need to keep that tent in this background, and I don't think there is. So we're gonna get rid of that. And we have, okay, so we already have the, this is the other thing that's kind of making it not use as much VRAM, is the fact that we do have depth of field on, and see how it's kind of blurry in the back, which is the effect we want. Now, trying to think, I may, let's see when we take the depth of field off. I want to see, we're at 3.8 on that. We take the depth of field off. I want to see if that kicks that up a lot. Because I was just thinking, I wonder if I want to have this image there, just in case if for some reason I want to be able to come back to this exact scene and be able to render something or put an image together with the background being in focus. I can't think of any reason right now, but I can always blur that, and that's not adding really anything to my GPUs. So let's render this. We're gonna see how quickly we start. It's gonna start rendering right away because we already have it previewed. Look at that. I mean, that's already, for what I'm using it for, I could stop this at probably 100 and feel really good about it. In fact, I may, just because of time, I may do that. I probably won't, but it's possible. I don't know that that HDRI background back there is going to get any clearer. I do believe that because that's an HDRI and not a actual like prop or something in the environment, I believe that that basically shows as clear as it's going to get right away. So I think we're done on this. So we are going to stop this, cancel render. We are going to call this the A12 background. We're going to save, and then we're going to bring this in. We're going to go all the way down here, and we're only doing that because we want to not have to move things around on here, and boom. This is our base image, and we are going to go ahead and export as, let's see, we've got our, what was the name? It's not under this one. Under facial expressions, and what we'll do is, let's add a create folder, and these ones are going to be, we're just going to call this folder finished expressions. And this is going to be A12A because there's going to be a sequence of A12s that are going to be all pretty much the same, but not quite. Okay, now I just thought of this too. I don't know, it's absolutely remarkable that I didn't mess this up right here. We are going to save this. This is our brand new A12. This is what we're going to come back to and use if we need it. So from here, when we do these changes, we will need the background in that. However, we may not need the tent. Go there. Bring back her. And the girl, where's you at? Where's the play at? All right, so we don't need to really be messing with this NVIDIA Ira anymore for right now. We'll just go back to the texture shaded. It's with the spot render. Question, you know what? We're going to check this out. I wonder if it is beneficial to be in NVIDIA Ira Preview when you start a spot render. I'm not sure. Alright, so let's do, you know what we can do too, just so we can come back and have all this in one thing. I don't believe there's any animation in this. Interesting. So why is there, what animation do I have in this thing here? Why is she disappearing? That makes zero sense whatsoever. Choose her. All these little things that I learn, and some of them don't make sense. So if we go to the second frame, I believe there's some animation with her somewhere where she's moving into the tent. Yep. But is she moving at all? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Next question is, why the heck? Back to texture shading. Because so what I'd like to do is I'd like to set this up as different frames in the timeline. It'll just make it easier than doing a different scene for each individual thing. So I need to figure out why the heck if some animation with her, why is she not showing up on the timeline? This makes no sense. Makes absolutely no sense of why. Apparently it is frame 4 maybe when she moves in there. I'm somewhat baffled as to where her animation is. Oh. Spotlight's not moving, environment, none of these things. we hit play. I am absolutely baffled. So this is saved. I'm going to get out of this and come back in. And I'm going to see if it still shows that. Because if I could find where she is on the timeline, then I could get rid of that animation. Because I don't want her moving in there. I guess if I'm just working on Shael's facial expressions, it wouldn't be such a big deal. But I wanna have them interact. I want to have, as one person says something, I want the other person. And actually, let's look at the script to see what we want to do. So the first one in that, I see someone decided to sleep in. And I think we'll change when she's saying, "Are you really that eager for a beating today?" I'm going to give her a little bit more of a sinister type laugh. Like maybe make her look like a little bit more of a bitch. Hey, what's up, Josh? I'm gonna get on Battlefront here in just a little bit. Just want to get a couple of these things done. Let's see. Where did he go? Where did he go now? Where did they go? There we go. Sure. Yay! Now I can see her on the timeline. Now I can get rid of her animation. Properties, general. So control on each of these things. You don't want to hit delete because then you'll delete her. Get rid of those. Control and click, hit that. Properties, transformations. They do make this fairly difficult to deal with in Daz Studio. I would definitely hope that eventually they'll make these things much easier in the future. Holy crap, there's a lot of... If somebody happens to watch this that has some easier way of me doing this, I've tried some different things, and if I get rid of the animation from her, then it gets rid of some of what makes her her. It's not just the animation in this, but it just changes her character completely. I just want to get rid of these frames with her. Wow, holy crap. There has to be an easier way of doing this. And what some people will say is, you're not really supposed to use Daz for animation. Not what it's really for, but you know what? Kind of enjoy it. There's just this part. Getting rid of like whole keyframes. So there should be a way to just say, okay, keyframe 5, every movement on everything from keyframe 5, I should just be able to hit something and get rid of, whether it's her, whether it's the camera, no matter what, keyframe 5 is gone. All the animation from it is gone. It would make things so much easier. I know I'm proud. There's somebody out there that's going to watch this and be like, hey, dumbass, there's a really easy way of doing this. I would love to see that easy way. So if it's just toes, let's see. Let's see if she, no, yep, she's still moving. Okay. Side bend. Get rid of some of these here. I don't think messing with her toes is going to matter right now in this scene. Mid thigh twist. So she's still moving forward. Shin. Abdomen lower. I think we're to the end of her though. I don't think there's going to be too many more that I have to worry about. So this might do it. Oh, abdomen upper. I think this is going to be it though. I hope so. And it just shows I need to do a better job of setting things up. Let's see, yep. Shouldn't I have to come through and do all this right now? Of course, the easy way I could do it would be just to make little changes. To make little changes to just the one frame. That's what I should have done. Wow, holy crap. Dude, this is, yeah. If this doesn't solve it soon, I might just figure out a different way of dealing with this. The neck is still moving. Right collar. Do. All right, there's still all this stuff. All right, we're doing this different. I just wasted a bunch of time. So we're going to do one total frame. That's it. We are going to save this. We're going to close this down. We're going to open it back up and hopefully, gosh, please, please, please let there be no animation left in that. What is that taking so long to? Another thing you'll notice in Daz is sometimes you'll close it down, but then your GPU isn't freed back up. And part of it, sometimes you go into your processes and realize that Daz is still open, like there's still things open in it. And you have to just go in there and end task. All right, let's open recent. We're going to add some keyframes, and hopefully if we're lucky, there's no animation in her. Otherwise, we're just going to do this differently. So let's go 5. Okay, sweet. Okay, so I just wasted a bunch of freaking time that I didn't need to. All right, so what was our intention here? So let's see. We need to go back to environment, make sure that we have straw dome is on. We're going to go with NVIDIA Ira Preview, and we're going to change her face just a little bit. Maybe move her arm just slightly. So actually, let's go to the Genesis 8 female. We can go to, let's go to currently used and see what we have for some things to make her. We can up the wicked smile. Oh, let's turn that to about 75 and see what that does. And maybe go about 65 on that. That open her mouth. Okay. You know what though? We don't want fierce in this because when she's saying somebody really wants an ass beaten or what a beating today, I don't think the fierce part of it is it. She's taunting her. So we can almost do a up her smile and her wicked smile. Let's move her arm just a little bit. Let's go to parameters. We're going to go to pose controls. Let's take her arms. Arms up, down. Let's see what we can do. And down. Cheek. We want her arms, we want her hand to go closer to her. So we don't want any of those. Back, arms front, back. Let's see. And no, we're just gonna have to go to let's go to actor. We're gonna go to arms. We'll go to what do I want to do on this? What am I really trying to do here? I'm gonna get out of the spot render tool. We'll go to this. Let's just still feel like her she's not wicked enough. Let's go to currently used. Maybe that'll be good enough. So we moved her quite a bit, didn't we? We moved, her whole body's gonna move just a little bit. So when we spot render this, we're actually going to have to, let's make sure that's still in a new window. So what we're gonna do, so yeah, we're gonna check to see if there's a difference in time. We're gonna get it up to 500 renders. And we're gonna start here with her whole body. So I don't think that made a difference starting it with from Ira Preview open. See, I'm wondering if the way I'm trying to do this, I don't know if this is going to save a whole lot of time. This is why I'm experimenting. Ooh, CPU is at 100%, and that's because of OBS Studio. Let's see. Let's take. Oh no, nope. It's because of Daz. So a little trick. Let's see. Let's go to CPU. CPU's or the GPU's at 5.7, so it's pulling on the CPU. we're going to go to details. We're going to go to right click, set affinity. We're going to take a couple of cores away from that. Hey, what's up, Eat My Bullets? My Christmas was it was good. It was good. It was good to spend time with family, kind of relax a little bit. It was pretty awesome. That's what it's all about. So my little experiment here may not be reaping the benefits that I wanted. And the reason why is that just the act of moving her arm shifted her whole body. So I wasn't even able to just do a spot render of her like from elbow up. I had to make sure that I got all of her in the spot render. And we're 2.5 minutes in. We're at 38 frames, or 38 iterations, 41 right now. Only 1% of the actual image is like, as far as the high definition. So I'm thinking in some ways that to truly like utilize what I'm trying to do here, I think you have to just focus on like just faces. Because if I was just doing just her face up there right now, and was able to just do a spot render from, maybe the neck up, it might already be done right now, instead of it looking like it's going to take, half an hour for this. And really, if it's going to take half an hour for this, then I'm better off just doing this as a PNG. In fact, let's see something real quick, because this isn't going to work. We're going to stop this. This is not going to be good enough. That's not going to get high enough definition. I'm going to stop this. Okay, so one thing we do want to do, because I messed up anyways on this. We want to go to, we want to go to extra shaded. And we want to return her to her pose that she started with. Remember, we are going to do this as different parts of the timeline. Nope. Smile we can be cool with. So our whole point is that we wanted to change her, just her face. And the thing is too, that if we do a spot render of just her face, and nothing else moves, and it's just her expression, then we can actually get rid of just about everything else. So we can go in, let's do this. Let's get rid of, let's see how fast we can do this. Oops. So we can get rid of this. We can get rid of the brass. We can get rid of the orcish tint. Oh, why that? All right. And honestly, do we even need to have the draw dome on? I don't think we do. What we're going to do is we're just going to do a quick test on. We're going to see how quickly this goes. Should pop up here in just a second. Already at, yeah, look at that. 31, 45, 73. So I think this little trick I'm doing with the spot renders, I'm going to have to use it only in situations where basically the character is remaining in the same exact spot in as far as position with the environment, but then I'm only making changes just in the face, just in that part of it, because I think, if I'm correct, that will do just fine. See, she's already at 568, so this is actually going to work a little bit. Hey, what's up, Michael Bishop? How you doing today? Yep, Hornet's got he's almost at like 2K subs. That's just freaking crazy, dude. That's just freaking nuts. So, all right, so for this little experiment, I think we figured out a few things. I think we figured out that this spot rendering trick is not going to work if there's much movement. It's going to only be able to be used when we're just changing expressions within this. Otherwise, it's better off just getting rid of the background and just doing just the characters and rendering them out. So we're going to call this, oh yeah, what did we A1/2B, let's say. And then we're going to go into here and we're going to take File, open as layers, open this. Oh. There we go. So now the question is, let's see what I got to do here. Ooh, is that just a slight difference in oh, you know what? I think that's just her wrist, but oh, look at that. There's just I think I'm gonna wrap this up here because I'm gonna have to do a little research to see why exactly I'm having this issue. Now let's cancel. I think you know what? Let's try this. Nope. Look at how that's just a little bit off. I'm not the happiest on this. What did I do with this render that's caused this to be off like that? What is it about this? We're at 2 and 2. Tone mapper settings are the same. So everything about this is the same, I believe. Why? Why is that doing that? You know what? I bet I know what it is. Let's try it. Let's try to spot render her face again on this. In fact, I might have to add one more thing back in the scene. This is what I think happened. Is since I got rid of Ilaria and then I got rid of the orcish tent, it changed the shadows. So what we're seeing there is that that tent was probably shading her just a little bit. Yeah, because okay, we'll actually stop this render. Let's do this. We'll just call this test. I'm guessing when I add when I add the tent back in here, everything's going to be fine. So we're going to add, let's file. Oh, yeah, shoot. We're going to go file, open as layers, and we're going to do this test one. Still too light. We're going to do one last one. We are going to take and we're going to add that tent back, and then we're going to see if that makes a difference. Otherwise, I'm going to call it a day for today, and I'm going to figure out things later. Yep, practice is that's exactly what it is. It's just, you know what? It's testing things. Especially having as little VRAM as I have, only 6 GB. I have to be really creative with how I do these things. Otherwise, I'm not going to be able to create the visual novel that I want. And I'm not going to be able to have as deep as scenes and as busy as scenes. And if I do want to have those, I'm going to have to do those in kind of chunks. I'm going to have to render backgrounds and then characters separately and stuff like that. And it's just honestly the way I'm going to have to do it if I want to tell the story that I want to tell. Until later on when I can afford to get a different video card. Yep, I believe that's already a little bit darker. So let's stop the render. Let's call that test 2. And let's pull that in. Yeah, we're only working with 6, just sucks. But you know what? It is what it is. So I bought this computer used. I was rendering off a Daz off CPU off my old computer. So this right here, it was amazing when I switched to this. Oh, yep. So we want to get rid of this one. Yep, there we go. That's what it is. By me taking the tent out of the scene with the spot render, it changed the lighting on her. So now that's perfectly lined up. So we can take that and we can save as, and we're gonna have export as. Gonna export as, and we're gonna have that be A1 to B. Now with working with Nanny Novel, I found that one of the best things you could do is to name your images in a way that's going to make sense for how you're going to write your script. So within this sequence, I'm going to have A12B, A12C. A12 in particular is this exact image right here. It's this setup with them standing in these poses with this background the way it is. And the facial expressions are going to change. And there, if there's A13, that's going to be maybe a change in how they're standing and all that stuff like that. So we're going to export that. Export. Okay, so I'm happy with that. So let's look at the difference here. So we got that. So there's the original one. There's her going like that. Yeah, I like that. I like that. And the thing is, so that's her. And this might not be the one that goes with that part of the script, because when she says, "Are you really that eager for a beating today?" I'm gonna have to really go through my expressions, because that's just not an evil enough look. I'm okay with it. It's just not evil enough. But anyways, that's all I got for today. I kind of wanted to just do a little spot rendering, playing around with it, seeing what we could get by with. And, to be honest with you, I guess my hope was that I could get by with getting rid of a lot of things out of the scene and not have it affect the spot on it. And I found out that I was wrong. Messing with things in the environment messes with the shadows and lighting and stuff like that. And you're not going to get things lined up. I mean, I could have spent hours trying to mess with different settings or whatever to get that, last image to line up with what's there. But yeah, it's not even worth the time doing that. So, all right, I'll be back doing some stuff probably here in the next couple days. Everybody have a great day. Peace.